Hello and welcome to this live stream of DCS 2.5. It's been a while since I've done any tutorials for this or any kind of videos about DCS World. I've been through a lot in the past year and a half, almost 2 years. Moved across country, went through kind of a bad relationship thing, but that's fine. DCS 2.5 is here, all is forgotten, and I'm looking forward to diving in. I'm just going to kind of play around with it. I don't really have any kind of agenda tonight. Just kind of want to get into it, see how it plays and how it looks and stuff like that. So, nothing too crazy. Now, first things first, I should probably turn the audio down. There was a particular mission editor video that I did that a lot of people weren't happy that the music was turned up a little loud, so. Now, this should be the new Caucasus map, I believe. And it looks like it is. Nice. I wonder if they redid any of the buildings over here at Sochi. Tonight I'm actually flying, I have a Thrustmaster Warthog, but I'm just flying with this other Thrustmaster, T16000, I think. It's got the joystick, which has rotor twist, not two-stage trigger, it's just a one-stage trigger, but it's a decent joystick, I like it. It's also got a throttle on it. You can get the joystick by itself, or you can get it with the throttle quadrant as well. Depends on how you want to fly, you know, what you want to do. I'm using both tonight. A lot of times I'll just use the joystick part of it, just to throw a mission together and kind of play around. I'm going to be putting links to this once it makes it to YouTube down in the description. So if you're interested, I highly recommend these over the Logitech 3D Pro. It's just way more, I mean, you can see that when it doesn't move at all. It's very nicely centered. It's got a really strong spring. It's easy to move when you're flying, but you don't have to mess around with it. It doesn't drift. It's centered, which is super awesome when you're trying to fly a simulator. And the throttle's nice. They both stick to the desk really nice. They're good weight. Oh, wow. That is nice. Alright, so welcome to Sochi, Russia. Site of the recent, I guess 4 years ago, Winter Olympics? I'm curious if they have any of the stadiums in here. Probably not. Ooh, that looks nice. Oh, that's as far as I can zoom out now. I can't zoom out all the way to, like, space like I used to be able to. I must not have put in my roll. Adjust controls. Axis assign. Roll, I did not. With the release of DCS 2.5, I'm going to be going back to doing the tutorial series, actually starting with this plane probably and the mission editor, the TF-51, which will eventually turn into the P-51. There's no reason to learn on the heavier airframe. This one is easier to fly, and watch, now that I've said that, I'm totally going to crash it. Usually I fly with Track IR, or recently with an Oculus Rift, which I highly recommend if you have the extra to sport for it. It's incredible how realistic it feels. I actually went and got my private pilot license. If you've been following my YouTube channel, you probably would have seen that. A lot of the more recent videos have been general aviation based. Get some airspeed going here. It's alive, 150. Rotate. Gear up. Train. We'll get our RPM set for cruise flight. And wow, this is way smoother than even 2.2. Frame rates are nice. This is nice. Let's go take a look at this train down here. A little bit of nose up trim now that I'm in the air. And I could use some left rudder. Hello, train. Oh wow, this looks nice. So in the map that I'm playing right now, it's 8 in the morning, which is a nice time to be flying. Let me get set up for flight at this altitude. And there we go. This just looks absolutely fantastic. That water, man, holy crap. They have definitely improved the water. This is nice. This is really nice. Let's see how low I can get. So many trees with shadows. Let's go do a canyon run. So the P-51 is definitely a little bit different than the Su-25. It's a propeller plane, obviously. That means you have to contend with the propeller's torque. So as the propeller's spinning, it's putting rotational force on the entire aircraft. So you actually have to compensate for that a little bit. Oh man. And I believe that all of these trees are actually collidable, which they never used to be in DCS World. A little choppy with all of these trees, but not too bad actually. Still smoother than 2.2 or 1.5 was. Go ahead and get up over this ridge, and we will see what we can see. So as I'm climbing here, these green arcs here for the RPM and the manifold pressure are basically like healthy engine bands. Basically, if you're cruising, you don't really want to kind of go out of them. You want to more or less keep them stable. You'll notice that my engine temperature down here is slowly climbing, and that's because I'm in a climb and my manifold pressure is up by 47-ish, which is a little bit more pressure than what the engine likes. It'll go up that high, but not for prolonged periods if you can help it. So I took off from Sochi, which is up there to the north. I was looking to see if they had added any new buildings, like maybe the Olympic Coliseums. I didn't see anything, but I flew directly south. I don't know exactly where the stadiums were in relation to the airport. They might have been north. I'm not sure whether they're actually added to the new Caucasus map. I would guess that they're not, but I don't know 100%. Man, this looks good. Man, this looks gorgeous, and it runs just really nice. This is super smooth. So the wonders of airplane trim, you don't have to hold the controls if you have the plane properly trimmed out. So awesome. Go do a low approach. Man, this feels like a different game. Right in between the runway and the taxiway. I'll head over this way. Take a look at that tower over here. How cool is that? And the city and the factories with their telltale Eagle Dynamics smokestacks coming out of them. Look at how the light reflects off the plane. That is so nice. Got another train over there. A lot of train traffic. If this is anything like DCS 2.2, you can individually destroy the cars on the trains. Another train. And different length trains, too. Longer train. Look at that. There's all, and that's a passenger train. There's all kinds of different trains in this now. This isn't just the one train model that you get. There was that one. There was like an agricultural train just like a mile back. 2 tracks down there. They're gonna pass each other. So here we've got the one train that's got like cargo trucks on it and looks like little tankers and like a hay bale thing. No, that's another tanker. And we've got this passenger train over here, which has passenger cars. They're on the same track, so they're just gonna go through each other, but there actually are two railways there. They're just not offset. Let's see what happens when I do this. Not really any appreciable frame drop, and that is a really nice looking mirror. Here's one of the shorter trains, and that's even different. It's got empty carts on it. That's awesome. I don't know if they have like a train randomizer or what they got going on with this, but there are multiple different styles of trains. Populated city. And I'm not running on hardware that's all that crazy. I mean, it's a 980, not a TI, just a normal 980. My processor is 5 generations old. It's the same processor that I recorded my old tutorials on, and the game just runs so much better. Our sailboats. This is really sweet. Man, I'm gonna have to put together some kind of little training map and go to town and check out all the new effects. Railroad going under a bridge. Got a train sitting here waiting. Got traffic on the road. This really looks fantastic. I cannot wait to fly this in VR. Another train going through town over there. A couple of stutters. Assuming that that's like preloading or caching the upcoming area. I'm assuming it's loading it in like squares at a time, which makes sense. I mean, that's a good way to do it. I would imagine if I were in a dogfight, I would not be happy. But as far as a scenic flight, it doesn't really bother me. And it's every like 10 minutes or so. Really not that often. And it's, you know, beta, so I'm sure they'll end up fixing that too. Just, in general, the whole thing is so smooth. It's really nice. This is going to be a lot of fun for helicopter pilots. If you're a helicopter simulator pilot, this is definitely going to be a game changer, quite literally, for you. You will be able to hide behind trees. I believe they are collidable with weapons and aircraft. I haven't tested that theory out, so I could be completely wrong. But I think I read somewhere that the trees are now considered objects. And the river goes through the forest. Look at that. Couple rivers. That looks so good. Just feel like a kid in a candy store. I know this river pretty well. That mist looks really, really good. I actually went flying a couple of weekends ago, and it pretty much looked exactly like that. Alright, I believe Kabuletti should be just over this little tiny mountain range, which used to look a lot bigger with the blocky mountains in the older version. Let's go ahead and set her down here at Kabuletti and call it a night. RPM's up to 2,700. It's starting to get a little choppy over here. Alright, pattern altitude. Entering left downwind. Hey Coda, I don't know what my frame rate is, but it's definitely playable. I'm running a 980, GTX 980 GeForce. Seems to be running just fine. I'm running on high settings. Whatever the preset is for high settings. Looks like between 49 and 50 something frames per second. 44. There you go. A little high on my approach here. Oh, man. The brakes in this game. Well, that was a nice look at DCS 2.5. Kind of wanted to take a look, see what it was like. I am highly impressed. It looks fantastic. It flies really well. Should be beautiful in VR. So I can't wait to jump in and see what that looks like. Oh, well, that's it for me tonight. Have a good one. New tutorial videos will be coming soon on YouTube, so look me up, subscribe. Should be fun. We're gonna start with the P51, the T51, TF51, and then moving on to the P51 once we get to weapons. And I might also at the same time re-put together the tutorial series for the SU-25T because I mean the new engine just looks fantastic. Since I recently got my private pilot license, I know a little bit more about the actual procedures for flight. So I might be able to put together a tutorial series that's a little bit more concise and correct, because there's a lot of stuff in the original series that I didn't get right, just to be perfectly honest with you. So, yeah, looking forward to it. 2018 is going to be a great year for simulation. Obviously, the rest of my flight vlogs, which will keep coming, and we'll see where we go from there. Have a great night, everybody. See ya.